So the topic we have today is a topic on shvachim. Obviously, in the Chassidus, the topic comes up. Let me just give you a little bit of an introduction. Right? I call it the inner dynamics behind the compliment. What is a compliment? But really, where's this discussion in Chassidus? So the Alter Rebbe has a discussion on davening. What's the purpose of davening? Davening is shvachim to the Eibishter. Yishabeach the Eibishter. The whole psukkah de Zimra and the whole davening is giving a thank you to the Eibishter. So the Alter Rebbe has a discussion. What is the purpose and meaning of me thanking the Eibishter? I mean, does he need my compliments? Hello, I don't need you. What's the purpose behind the shvachim of a person to the Eibishter? The discussion is also found in the Chassidus on Halal, on Bikurim. So on Halal, Tzemach Tzedek has a mimer. They all take the Alter Rebbe's mimer and they add different points to it, and sometimes in the context of another area in Yadus. So the Alter Rebbe talks about davening. So the Mittel Rebbe talks about Chanukah. Also Chanukah we have a Halal Veda. Tzemach Tzedek comes on Halal. The Rebbe adds to it also a component that we'll see. So this is a general discussion on shvachim. Now, in order to understand what davening is, we have to understand what a compliment is by humans. And that's how the Alter Rebbe has one paragraph, that in that paragraph, he defines shvachim by humans in a totally different way, in a way that's not commonly understood, and through that, he's able to explain what it means to Mishabeach the Eibishter. So that's the roadmap of what we're doing.
What does tzavid mean?
This is I copy and pasted, and obviously it didn't come out good. It's tzorich.
Oh.
Tzorich. So now, that said, there's also another discussion found in the Chassidus that quotes Pirkei Avos. Because really, this same discussion is found in Pirkei Avos. In Pirkei Avos, we discuss. So in Pirkei Avos, we discuss the concept of shvachim within the framework of the Mishra, Danis Kol Adam Lekav Zchus. So we'll see how this plays out in the Mishnah in the sense of shvachim between humans. And eventually, in the end, we'll understand and extrapolate this understanding to how it exists between us and the Eibishter. Let me recap for those that just came in. Help you jump in. So we have the discussion today again is on shvachim, what it means a compliment. It's found in the Chassidus in the context of davening. Why does the Eibishter need our compliments of davening? Why does he need it? In order to understand that, we'll start with a discussion of how compliments play out in life. And the Alter Rebbe has one paragraph. It's not much a short paragraph. It's like a quarter of a page. And that paragraph is later dissected by all the Rabbeim to explain what compliments. So there's 4 components that we're going to go through. 4 stages to understand how this plays out. First is going to be what it is. Simply what. Describe it. The functionality of how it plays out. What it is. Then how it works. When it works. And then why it works. And after we understand all 4 components, then we can go and see how it applies by the Eibishter. Okay? So let's start off with a general question. Really, the word compliment is many times swapped with the word flattery. Hachnofa. Right? Kol hamachnif es chaveiro.
In Hebrew too?
In English. In Hebrew, there are 2 different words for it. Right. In Hebrew, there's 2 designated words. It's very hard to swap. But in English, it's not so accurate. And many times we use the word compliment, and really it's a flattery.
Yeah, well, because it's so dishonest.
Very good. Okay, I didn't want to say that. So really what has to be understood is what's really the authentic meaning of compliment versus flattery. What's really give me the ingredients of how a real shevach plays out. Not hachnofa, shevach. What is it?
It's not connection.
So if I would ask you, what's the key component? That's the outcome, right? What's the key component in simply speaking, factually speaking? What is it? A description, correct. Give me a description that would differentiate it from flattery. What would be the key differentiator? Truthful.
Right.
Truthful.
Truthful.
Simple. Truthful. Is there any other differentiator?
Wait a minute, but you could say something truthful, but with the wrong kavanah.
Oh, so there's really two differentiators.
Yeah.
There's a guf and there's a neshama. Very good. We'll get to that. The first differentiator that comes to surface, the first thing that comes to mind, is that it has to be factual. The lashon of the Alter Rebbe is when you call an ediv leiv, someone who's a bal tzedakah, someone who's a generous person, you have to give the right description to the right address. If you give the wrong, it's a nice description, but it's the wrong address, it's meaningless. If you call an achzor, a bal tzedakah, he's going to look the other way. If you call someone who's a shaita, a chacham, he knows that you are simply, he's actually going to be upset at you because you're making fun of him. You're making fun of him. Right? So it has to be factually, simply speaking, it has to be correct. But hachnafa is usually not sheker. It's usually exaggeration. Flattery. Flattery is usually not sheker. It's exaggeration. That's why there's a fine line. It's not a fine line. Exaggeration is exaggeration. But that's why you don't look, it's like, I don't know what to do with it. Sometimes I don't know what to do with it. And that's why the first thing, okay, step one.
How do you keep it in check?
Let's just take it step by step. So the first thing is, what is it? If you ask, what is a shevach is a specific description that's given to a specific person, and it has to be specifically tailored. It has to be truthful, 100% truthful. You call chesed to bal chesed, you call a chacham to a chacham, you call organized to organized, probably malchus, whatever midah you are looking to address, you have to address it specifically and not exaggerate.
What if you want a kid to be a little bit more like Baal Chesed? You're not supposed to tell them, like, I know you're so kind, even though, like, to make them like.
So you're looking to awaken a midah. You're not looking to address a midah. You're looking to awaken a midah. In other words, you're not looking to say thank you. Usually, a shavach is an expected thing. Someone did something kind to you. Thank you very much. You show the existing. There is a shout out that you're responding to. You're looking to create a midah. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. How that plays out. That's a deeper. That has a deeper impact. That takes more within how we use it. The normal way how we play out is you're addressing something that's normally expected to address. Yeah.
I just wondered if we could wait till the end for questions.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Some questions are. That's fine. Some questions are in the middle. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Because it disrupts the flow.
It's okay. So what's the first point? The first point is that it has to be truthful. It has to be truthful. It can't be exaggerated. But more importantly, how does it work? Genuine. What's the first thing people think when they hear a shavach? What do you want? That's the first thing you think. Why?
To ask a favor.
When someone gives a shavach to someone else, the recipient's first machshava, first thought, what do you want out of me? What are you looking to get? What's your agenda? Right?
What's in it for you?
Depends who it is. Depends who gives it.
Depends who gives it. So what could be an example where shevach automatically has an impact? Because really what's supposed to happen, a shevach is supposed to 100% of the time tickle the person who gets it. It's supposed to be a teva b'nei adam. It's not supposed to be a trick. It's supposed to be a teva, and we have to understand why. But it's supposed to be 100% of the time. Why is it that we think, oh, what do you want from me? because we're doubting the genuine feeling behind it.
Right.
So let's give a few examples where there's no doubt, where we see an automatic reaction. That'll help us understand why we do doubt when we doubt.
What do you mean?
I'll give you 3 examples. See, the Alter Rebbe is describing, he's going into, it's not a trick. Shvachim are not a trick, it's a teva. It's not tricks that you pull out of your bag. There are certain, you need food? We need shvachim. It's not a trick. But we have to understand, if it's really a teva, then why doesn't it always play out? What is missing within that experience that's not allowing it to play out? Obviously, that has to be defined. So let's find 3 cases where the real experience plays out. We'll then be able to see what was really behind that experience, and then we'll see why it doesn't play out.
You're saying what's supposed to be a compliment?
What's supposed to be the real experience of what a compliment is supposed to achieve between the giver and the receiver? How is it supposed to impact the recipient, and how it automatically has that impact all the time?
Teva, you mean teva to give?
Teva means nature. Teva means nature.
No, to give, is it?
Teva, the teva, we'll see. The teva is that it has an impact. Let's give 3 cases. First case, I call it a by the way compliment. Person is standing in the hallway, and they're saying to their friend about Yankel. And Yankel is behind the door, and he hears what's going on. They're saying, Halavai, you should be like Yankel. Look what Yankel did to me. Yankel helped me with this. Yankel helped me with this. They didn't even know Yankel's behind the door listening. They're talking to their friend. They're trying to explain to their friend what it means to be nice. They say, Halavai, you should be like Yankel, right? Yankel hears, Yankel automatically feels good. It's a teva b'nei adam. Automatically, why? Because he doesn't doubt sincerity. The only time a shevach doesn't work if sincerity is doubted. The moment sincerity is not doubted, it automatically pulls and is moishech the recipient's feeling automatically.
So why it's a compliment? Because I'm saying, oh, look what he did. It's not a compliment.
So really the word compliment is not the right word. Behind the word compliment should be appreciation. Really, a shevach is a feeling of appreciation that one human shows to the other human. And that automatically creates a connection. Compliment is the word we use in English, I don't know why. But really behind that experience, it should be described, really behind the shevach is hoida'ah, which is appreciation. A compliment is a word we use in English.
But it means
For
positive. Compliments.
whatever, but the experience behind it, really, it is the appreciation. Let me play 2 more examples, and then we'll define it. Because there's a guf and a neshama. Chassidus is called a guf and a neshama. There's the body, and then there's the energy behind really what's happening here. And more often than not, we're too overcome with the body, and we don't focus on the soul of the experience. Just to throw out another example, I'm giving 3 examples, actually 4. There's 4 examples here. Another example, a thank you note that people write. So people a lot of times say, "Can you write a thank you note for me? You have a better vocabulary." Or can you write, "I want it to be your handwriting because you have a nicer handwriting." It takes away the whole purpose. Why? Because really behind the thank you is not words, but a feeling. And if it's not your words that hold the feeling, then it's not going to be your feeling coming out in it. The neshama is the ikr.
So it's better.
The feeling of appreciation is the most. Mimanashach. If the other person knows you, then they know they know you. It has to come out. You had the experience. It has to be your words, your handwriting, your. Even more than that. Let me bring this out like this. Chassidus has a question. Chassidus asks, why are humans called medaber? This has to be explained. Why are we called, medaber? Where the attribute that we highlight in the differentiation between humans and animals is medaber, speech. Why don't we call ourselves maskil? We have chachmah, we have knowledge. Knowledge should be the differentiator between us and animals. We say no medaber. Why? It says like this. the ability that we have in Dibor is the ability that we can feel someone else's feeling. Animals don't have that. It's a fascinating thing. How does one person get out of their bubble and feel someone else's feeling? It's a davar pele. It doesn't make sense. I have my eye. I should be able to get you. The Eibishter only gave that. A beer can't say, oh, I understand what the sheep feels. Yeah, I kind of doesn't understand. He has an instinct to eat when he eats and to sleep when he sleeps. It's instincts. We have a,
Animals don't feel it either.
they have instincts.
Like
They
dogs?
can't say, oh, I chap sich an anaya feeling. They don't chap sich anaya feelings. They have instincts that they're born with that they can develop throughout their life, whatever they were programmed with. We can meet a stranger. Someone not my type, I can feel them. Someone yes my type, I can feel them. Someone who yesterday wasn't my type can be my type. I can connect to anyone. Any human I can connect to, as long as they're human. Animals don't have the ability to connect to every animal. They don't have that ability. They were programmed. They have certain instincts, certain things. And this plays out in Shevach. Shevach is essentially, what's Shvachim? It's an experience of a human connecting to another human. Feelings, dvarim, the feelings that I have, the word, what's so fascinating about words? The words don't even have anything within them. All they have is carrying the feeling. Now let me play this out, just to bring this out. I gave an example a few times in the past, 2 examples that bring this out. This is very important. I gave the example of Yankel the Ganev. Remember the example of Yankel the Ganev? Right? This time it's the Berol the Ganev. Okay? Berol the Ganev. So someone comes in shul. Someone says, Yankel is a Ganev. Words. Conveying a message. So the Rav says, tomorrow you have to come in shul. You made a mitzvah shem. Now you made a whole shul is now, it's Lashon Hara. So you have to come tomorrow and fix it and say Yankel's nicht a Ganev. So he comes to shul the next day and he says, yeah, you told me the story. Yankel is nicht a Ganev. He said the words, Yankel nicht a Ganev. Words are meaningless. It's the tone and the feeling behind them that define the word. The experience of Shvachim is not really the words I use, the vocabulary I use, the handwriting I have, or or it's all about, is it genuine? The moment the genuine is 100%, then the words carry 100%, and 100% enters the recipient. The only time we doubt is when we didn't give it 100%, or it was in a place where I allowed myself to doubt you. Sometimes it has to be given in the right time.
I don't understand what you said about allow yourself to doubt.
As we'll go on, it'll clarify.
What does it mean, genuine?
Genuine means bitznimut. Betom. Now, 2 more examples how this plays out. So this is all in 6. Another example: person goes to a doctor to analyze himself. Like how smart am I? How this comes out, and the person says, "You have a high IQ." They come out on cloud 7. Mamish, they feel like $1 million. The doctor has no agenda besides the bill, and that's okay. That's just what he's paid. He doesn't doubt that the doctor is saying it not to get something out of him. No. A sincere awakening. It's in Chassidus, it's like a name. When you call someone, you go into a room, you call Reuven. Reuven turns around. When you call someone Chesed, they turn around. You're calling out their name. They automatically respond. Midas that we have, we automatically respond if we're called out with our name. But there's 2 Reuvens in the room. I don't know. Maybe it's me, maybe it's other person. I'm not sure who you really mean. I'm not sure really if you mean yourself. I'm not sure if you mean me. When I feel 100%, then I automatically respond. Other examples, a close friend. Close friend is the same concept. I don't doubt. It plays out. So let me summarize what we learned now before we go to the 3rd step. What did we learn? There's a difference between shvachim and chachnava. compliments and flattery. A compliment, the first differentiator is if it's truthful. Factual. Is it true? Is what I'm saying true? I have to call a Baal Chesed Chesed, which means to say there has to be an existing Maisa Chesed that I'm addressing. I can't make fun of the individual. I can't call him just for the sake of trying to make him feel that. It has to be to something that deserves it. A person did something chesed, so you say it. Thank you very much for my chesed you did. A person says something smart, thank you. You're addressing something specific. We'll soon see how it goes even when it doesn't have like the example you gave. But Bapashtis, the first example is it has to be there.
Also, you say about what they did or like about them?
You're showing your appreciation
For what they did,
for,
or you're about
well,
it?
it's not, person did a Maaseh Chesed to you. You're showing your appreciation to the Maaseh Chesed that they did, not only because it was to you. That's a beautiful thing that you did.
So I'm not saying, oh, you're such a
I'm not saying thank you for giving me money. I'm saying that was such a kind thing of you to give me money. I really appreciate you didn't have to do it, and it just shows how generous you are. It just shows, right? I'm expressing and describing their midas hachesed that was behind the maisa hachesed, and that creates a feeling. Oh, you recognize me, you appreciate me. We'll see how this plays out in step 3. This is only step 2. So that's what it is, and how it is more important than what it is. How it works is the neshama. It's more important than the what. We get too focused in the what. Really, it's all about the genuine. If it's we have to ask ourselves before we say anything: are we genuine? If you're not genuine, then the words mean nothing. The words come from the heart, and they know what the heart has, and they'll carry whatever's in the heart. So if you're not genuine, that's what the words will carry. I'm not genuine. The other example I had is the Balkaidi, right? Balkaidi in Shul makes a mistake. 2 people correct the Balkaidi. The Balkaidi says Vayemer, everybody says Vayemar. Vayemar, it's a mistake. 2 people correct the Balkaidi. 1 person, everybody shushkasim. Everybody shushkasim. Genokshin, we already heard you. Quiet. The other person with the same correction, everybody allows him to say that they respect him. Why? You heard this example from me before. Why? The first one is a nuduk of town. When the coffee spills in shul, he's the first one to scream the coffee spill. When the person comes late, he screams that he came late. Person took a seat, he's yelling at him. So they don't hear Vayemar, they hear Nudnik. So they say, quiet Nudnik, we heard you enough already. The other one, everybody knows is a genuine person. So his words carry genuine. So they respect it. Doesn't mean they behave like him and they care for the things he cares for, but they respect genuine. Dvarim hayetzim min halev nichnasim el halev. Dvarim have to come from heart. They don't come from heart, they're not dvarim. Then it's flattery. And then the real definition of flattery is echad bepeh ve'echad belev. When there's an interruption between the heart and the words that come out of it, then it's not the function of words. Words are supposed to carry a heart. If there's no heart, then the words won't be able to create a heart on their own. So they're basically telling the recipient, hey, there's no heart here. And that's why it doesn't respond. Words were created, they're bottled to the heart. They carry 100% what's in the heart. Whatever words you use, you're essentially carrying what's in your heart. So you can't fake it. So make sure before you say it, you know what you're saying and why you're saying and how you feel inside of yourself before you say it. Otherwise, don't say it. That's what words are. That's the first point. So that takes us with 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The Rebbe actually wrote to a speaker. Many times the Rebbe writes this in regards to, so a person writes, it's not poil pulasoi. I spoke, and it's not poil pulasoi. It doesn't make an impact on the congregation. So the Rebbe wrote to him, don't blame the congregation, blame yourself. Because Dvarim HaYetzim min Alev nichnasim Alev. It probably wasn't Dvarim HaYetzim min Alev. So go back to the books. So the same concept is Dvarim HaYetzim. Okay, this till now is pretty simple. Pretty simple. This is really common sense. It's commonly understood. Chassidus brings it out a little bit more. He uses the words neshama. This is why many times in my marm you find that dibur is bittul. Why is dibur bittul? For this reason. Because oisiyos are bottle. Why? Oisiyos is an amazing thing.
Bottle to the feelings.
Usually if you're a spokesperson for someone, you have a say, you have a pride, you have a something to yourself besides the fact that you serve the other. And words have nothing. They only have what's in your heart. That's what they give over. Fascinating thing. They have zero identity to themselves. Their whole identity is the heart of the person saying it. We don't even realize. Passion sometimes could be self-propelled too. It has to be what you feel inside of you. It has to be simply how you see things, how you feel. Is this how you feel? Before you say words are supposed to express, they're not supposed to create. They're supposed to express what's within. If it's not within, the words will simply say within themselves that it's nothing here, it's hollow. Hollow words are what we call flattery. They're felt. Hollow words start, the problem is me. Because when I said them, I didn't invest myself in them. So therefore, don't complain when the other doesn't feel yourself within your words when you never invested yourself in your words. Right? Yeah?
You're just saying it to be nice or whatever, but really.
If you don't feel for what you say, don't say it. Simple as that. Okay.
It has to be honest.
Yeah, truthful.
Like Americans, or like what you're wearing, like how.
Not like the stewardess in the plane.
So.
You know, the stewardess in the plane, they smile and they're amazing, and then they, and then it's part of the work to smile. It's not necessarily because they appreciate or they're French, right? There's an expression in the French, smile, and after they stab you in the back. Right? Okay, so now the Alter Rebbe says something that changes. This is till now is pashut. Till now it seems to be common sense. Here the Alter Rebbe says something that doesn't make sense. Seems to not make sense, which really changes the whole dynamic. What is an exception to shvachim? When can I not use a shavach? The pashtus. When can I not use shvachim? When a person's upset at me. You're upset at me, I'm going to give you a shavach now. The person's upset at me. You're such an amazing person. Get away from me, I don't want to talk to you. No, you're such an amazing... Get away from me. I'm upset at you, get away from me. Says the Alter Rebbe, even if a person can be so Yankel is upset at me, but even so, when he's mishabeach me, it can take away my upsetness, my kas.
Who is the Mevakeh?
I am. Yankel is upset at me. He's looking to awaken chesed within me, right?
Wait, he's upset.
Yankel and me are friends.
Okay.
Now we got into a fight. And I am upset at Yankel. I'm upset at Yankel. Yankel wants to somehow be my friend again. So the Alter Rebbe writes, even if there's kas, Yankel says to me shvachim, he can take away my kas.
It's like Manerach, Meshif Chema.
What?
It's almost.
But how does this understood?
A softer answer will reduce
Dissolve.
that anger.
But usually if there's kas, and you try to be mishabeach the person when there's kas, it goes right over. It just
Well, there's a Pirkei Avos about that.
out to the Chamei B'Shas Kaisei. So what does it mean over here? So what's pshat? Obviously, it means something else. So what does it mean? So this opens up a deeper understanding of the whole idea of shvachim. And I'll play it out with children, and I'll play it out with adults. It's easier to understand it in children because really kas only children don't get it. Kas. Adults never get it. So.
Children don't get upset?
No, I said usually.
Adults don't get upset.
Adults, only children.
The child in us, it's true.
That's why I'm going to give an example for children. So the example is, actually, when I learned this, I tried it out on my Shabbos table with my kids. Tried it out. I'm saying, you see the word try out, it sounds like a trick. You can have a genuine feeling and then you have to know how to express it. We'll see how this plays out. Api shakasel, how does it play out? So children, there's seems like it's a mini Yisrael. That after Kiddush, the oldest gets first. Right? Usually something similar. Other places, yeah. Then the second, chas v'shalom, if you don't give the oldest first Kiddush, you can expect a volcano. It's not a pleasant experience. So what happens if you don't give the oldest first? And the oldest is now upset. So what do? So, kas, very upset. What's behind kas? Are they upset because they like the wine? Kas is essentially a symptom of a lack of recognition. Says the Alter Rebbe, the moment you show recognition, automatically you take away the kas. For example, beautiful thought. I don't have to deal with the kiddush. The moment I show daughter, I showed her, I said, turned around and I said, wow, it's amazing how this morning you were so responsible in the house and you took care of things. And that's exactly what we expect from our oldest. And you were exactly that role. You bring out the recognition that she now felt she misinterpreted from your action. You reaffirm the genuine recognition within. You automatically take away the kas. Kas essentially has one symptom: lack of recognition, lack of shevach. Shevach, the core of shevach, is recognition, is appreciation, is showing my feeling that I have to the recipient. Kas is the person who's upset, is essentially saying, hey, I'm upset, I don't feel that appreciation, please show it to me. You show it, it goes away. Automatically goes away. Let me bring it out in adults in a different way. So, let's say there's a supporter of an organization. Again, I'll give examples that are more objective, and you can extrapolate from that to any other example, the same nekuda. So let's say there's a supporter of an organization. A supporter is entitled to what? He feels part of the organization. So he's entitled to know what's going on. The moment he finds out something from the back door, instead of being told firsthand, he's slighted. The word slighted means his feelings were hurt. What's really bothering him? That he didn't hear that specific piece of information? No. He understands from this act that you no longer consider him as someone vital enough to share with him what's going on. So the moment you reconfirm that really this is not the case, he won't be upset anymore.
It's more like he's not very important.
And it's not an ego. It's not ego. See, we get mixed up between ego and between nature. It's the nature. This is simply, it's ego not to give it to him. That means, some people say, I'm not going to let you be an ego, so I'll step on you. Don't step on me. You are not meant to step on me. You're meant to be who you are, not meant to be who I am. This is the nature, and we'll get that in the stage 4. Why do compliments work the way they work? But this is the nature of how they created humans.
It's all about what's behind.
Yeah. So let me go through a few more examples. So again, what do we have over here? Kas, the nature of kas is really not on the what, but on the why. It's not on what you did, but it's on your intention. You see, when you make a mistake, I'm not upset at you. Oh, that was intentional. I feel from what you did that you disengaged from me. So I'm not upset at the specific detail. I'm more upset at my perception of your feeling behind your act, which is the intention, which is the genuine feeling that we spoke about from the beginning, which we have invested in Haidah, which now he feels in Kas, he feels divested, he feels it's not there, and that's why he's the Kas. Kas is a symptom. I don't feel your heart. Kas is saying, I don't feel your heart. I'm doubting your heart. That's what Kas is. Show me your heart. Find a way to show me that. Then it goes away. I don't have to give excuses. I don't have to start saying it was not a good wine. It was a good wine. I fell. I tripped. I'm still going to doubt you after everything. You never answer the question. I don't have to say, oh, there was a phone call and I couldn't call you, Mr. Supporter. That's not. Show him in another example, for example, with the supporter, make sure the next project, he's the first one to know. And tell him that you verbalize your genuine feeling of appreciation in the next time. So now the haidah that you give him, the shevach, takes away the kas. Exactly what Alter Rebbe says. When there's kas is a richut. Kas is a distance between the recipient and the giver. When there's a distance, show kiruv. And that automatically takes away the kaas, which the kaas is just one word. The word, really what's behind kaas, if you want to describe it, I'm begging, please show me if you appreciate me. Are you there? That's what kas is. That's behind kas.
Society is so full of
Is it not our society? Is it since Sheshes Mebereshis? This is since the Eibishter created humans.
Like, it seems like this, I don't know.
This is how the Eibishter, this is, look, I don't have nevuah. I can't, no x-ray can tell me what you feel. Maybe, I don't know. But, so, only thing I have is dibur and maisa. So I misinterpret the dibur and maisa, the speech and the action sometimes. The onus is on us to reaffirm our heart. That's ka'as is lack of heart. Haida'ah is reinvestment of heart. That's what the inter-exchange between why haida'ah takes away ka'as. Clar? Yeah?
Yeah, it just it seems like sometimes it's not either or, it's just emptiness, like people are very vacuous, and they're like, they say, I like what you're wearing, I mean, it's so...
That's not again.
That's not
We
a
just,
compliment.
right, we just started off that a compliment has to be, number one, genuine. And you can see it on the person giving it if they're genuine or not. You can see when they said it if they're genuine. If you're genuine, you think about where I am. And you don't just tell me when I'm in the middle of writing an essay, oh, you're an amazing person. If you really want me to hear, you part of being genuine is knowing when to say it and how to say it, right? And the right time to say it. Because that's what we do when we care. When we care and we have a heart, we find the right time to do it. So I can see in the person saying it if they're genuine, because genuine is actually embodied in the words. So it's not two separate experiences. So let me look up. What words should I use? Teimishkin cup. Go back to your room, figure out what you feel, and then use the words that you have. Don't go to any dictionary. It's got to be you. You say it the way you want. That's it. That's how it works. That's what it is. So we make it more complicated than it really is. That's how it is. There's another example. This is a little bit more, perhaps, less objective. Let's say a person says, a boss at work. I'll give you this example. So let's say, and this is actually playing it out in a more tougher case scenario. So here's more. So let's say two coworkers are talking and they say something negative about the boss. And the boss walks by. Boss just heard something negative. Now you're in trouble. Right? And so what are you going to do then? Compliment him? What are you going to do?
Still be committed. Still do your job well. Prove yourself.
But he now knows what you think about him.
Say you weren't supposed to be there.
You weren't supposed to be there. It's your fault. Why'd you come there?
You have to reconnect
I didn't mean
with
it.
him on a positive
Huh?
way.
You
just said
How?
Voice
Very
your
hard.
heart.
If you're a place in your heart where you truly do respect it, if you can access such a place and you'll feel it.
So the first question you have to ask yourself is, do you have any respect for him? Everyone has chisroinus and miles. The fact that you mention the chisaron of an individual doesn't mean you don't respect them. Everyone has miles and chisroinus. And guess what? The boss knows he has chisroinus. He's not upset that you know of his chisaron. He's upset that you identify him with his chisaron. Why are we upset when we make mistakes and someone caught us? Because now they're going to think I'm Mr. Mistake. They don't realize it was only 1% of my day. So now, the first question this person has to ask is, do they have any respect to that boss? If they do have respect to that boss, then yeah, b'mishabeyachim. How? Very simple. You go back to the boss. Again, it's genuine. And you highlight the areas in the right time, in the right way, that you do respect. And bechad machta, at the same time, you say, you know, the Eibishter created everyone in ways that everyone has certain miles and certain chesronos. I also do. And it's amazing how you found people to take care of the area. You're not so, let's say he's very creative and he's not so on time. You found people to take care of those things, and that doesn't make a difference. He now sees that you don't define him with this chisarn. That's how you're now essentially dealing with him like we deal with ourselves. Just like we don't define ourselves with our own chisarn. When you come to him and you show that your appreciation is really there,
You think he's
and
gonna
that,
want to talk to you?
huh?
You think he's gonna want to talk to you now when he's all
Yeah,
insulted?
yeah. If he's actually going to any boss, is usually a little bit chutzpah. Usually a boss has to have some chutzpah. They had to have somewhere chutzpah. And they're going to respect the brazenness of taking it head front. Showing if you're genuine. If it's really a mistake. It's really a mistake. Really, you do respect a lot of things. So you highlighted the chesar. No, we all have chesaronis. But if it's not genuine, then taka. So he found out the truth. So that's who you are. That's who you. So eat your own cake. That's what it is. But if it's taka true that you have, and hello, we all have miles of chesaronis. What do you want? That's how they created the world. That's how it plays out in every relationship.
But they're gonna feel like you're telling them all
No,
this
you're
stuff because-
if you're genuine. No, you're genuine. Again, genuine means you don't hide anything. You say it again. If I really feel that I respect amazing, he has amazing mila. He has an amazing mila. And I really feel that way. Then I'll find the right way and the right time to bring it out. And while I bring it out, I verbalize. I know you overheard what I said. That chisar is not how I identify you. I have chisar. You bring out, so now he hears it and he understands it, and it's a different, and it's kloyhoyo. So it really plays on every scenario.
What if you're not genuine? Can you how the Rebbe gives the example, like, act that way and you become that way? Can you?
Well, you have the dancing for B'Shabbat the Kala now Chasuda.
You can't say an apology to someone. Where does the Rebbe say it? The Rebbe says it in give me an example. So a person says something, shiring don't steal. Yeah? Because Allah and Torah don't steal. But let's say I sometimes nichshel. I sometimes steal. So therefore a person writes to the Rebbe, I says, I can't bring it, but don't steal because I sometimes steal. I don't feel like I'm genuine. Right?
In terms of having a shit up, the girl said she's not nice and she's not able to meet people. And he told her to be nice and act nice and serve people.
That will change her. That behavior will change.
Or someone said they're not patient, or they get angry.
So you're bringing out the same point that she said. There's something else.
And the Rebbe said.
You're saying
something
how,
more, I can't have
so it's
kids.
not genuine, it's genuinely trying to help them be something. That's not genuine. That's genuinely trying to help a person develop a new midah. That's something else. We'll get to that.
No, she's not a nice
What-
person, but he says just do nice things and you'll become.
Or what's mean? There's no such thing as a person is not. Okay, we'll get that in a second. Now we're gonna get to in a second. There's no such thing as a person is not nice. A person. Okay, we'll get that in a second. That's the next step. I thought you meant something else. I thought you meant not genuine. So the example given is a person writes to the Rebbe.
It means they really hate the boss.
No, that's not the same. That's not the same. That's two different things. No, because if you really if you don't have a midah, if you're not so kind or you're not so smart, that doesn't mean you don't have the ability to be kind or to be smart. So over here, and that's a different. We'll get to that. Over here, shvachim don't only awaken, but it can actually pull out something new, and that's what you mentioned in the beginning of a teacher and a student. That's a different. That's another area of shvachim. That's beyond this. It's further. But that's not genuine. It has to be genuine. Genuinely trying to pull it out of the other person. Every relationship, they're genuinely trying to help each other, but that's another area. But that's not genuine. It might not be there right now, but I'm genuinely reaching out. That's another case. But that's another step.
You're seeing it in the other person, like in your mind's eye.
Okay, you bring it up, so I'll address it. Okay, I'll address it. So what happens if there's no chesed by someone? Right? Till now we discussed. So let's be masakim the three. Let's summarize the three stages we have, and then we'll go. This is actually a fifth stage. First stage we have in complement is simply defining the experience. What is it? It has to be factually true, which means to say that has to be a person who's actually a kind person that I'm calling out their kindness. Your case is a case where there's no kindness and I'm trying to create it. We'll get that in a second, right? The person is not kind and the person is trying to shabeach them to make them kind. We'll get that in a second. So the first case we had was there is kindness and I call it out. We discussed how the most important component is the neshama, the genuine feeling. And we redefined shevach into appreciation. Really behind the experience of shvachim is the connecting of one person's heart to another. It's a heart experience, not a word experience. Shvachim is a heart experience. Dvarim hayotze min halev nichnasim el halev. If it's not yotze min halev, then it's yotze la'alma. It just goes into the world. I don't know, sticks on a wall. Not even, right? It just doesn't work. Because it has to be lev. We discussed this, even works with this kas. So Chassidus gives an example like this. What's the difference between a person in kas and when a person has midas hachesed of two friends? So he's like, there's a coal and a fire. Everyone has existing fires and everyone has hidden fires. Let me play this out. A person walks down the street and there's chaos in the street. Some people walk by and they don't pay attention. Some people walk by, they're right away organized. They're right away holding traffic and they're very busy, right away. You're in a supermarket and there's a line. Some people just stand in line. Some people instinctively, they're right away doing something to make where does it come from? It comes from Midas and Malchus. In a sense, it comes from a person's midah. The shaydish of it is essentially leadership, taking charge. That's where it comes from. Certain people instinctively have that in that midah that it comes out right away. Person walks down the street, someone's laying on the street. Some people right away run and help out. Some people just walk by. Where does it come from? Midas HaChesed. Instinctively they respond. So there's an existing fire within me. We all have Eser Koiches. Some of them are Bizgabrus. Some of them are an existing fire, and some of them are not, but we all have it. Person opens up a book, reads it, they understand. The other person starts asking questions. Right away feels there's something wrong. That's Chachma. Okay, Chachma is asking questions. They feel there's something not there. Oh, I didn't realize it was a question. Okay. Does that mean, just because you have an existing fire, does that mean if you don't have an instinctive intuition, you can't develop one? Absolutely not. Another example is a coal. A coal, you have to hit it to get a fire. Everyone has a coal. You can hit it a little bit and a fire comes out. When a person is bekas, it's like a coal. What happens is they go back. So shvachim worked in two scenarios. Shvachim able to hit an existing fire, a person who did a chesed to me, who did a kindness. I right away said thank you, and Shalom al Yisrael, it's a good feeling. It's a little bit tougher when there's kas in the middle, but it's still the same recipe because the recognition can pierce through and pull back out the midas hachesed that I was calling out. So midas hachesed can work in both ways. Then it could even work in a third scenario when a person has no chesed at all. Not no chesed. No chesed b'hiskabros. Or let's take chachma. Child is flunking on a test. This was the example you gave in the beginning. Child is flunking on a test. So they're not doing well. They get a D. They get a 20 on their test. They get a 20 on the test. You know, when the child comes home and says, and the report card says, your child has a lot of potential. It's not a great day. So this is one of those children that came home and the report card that said, they always have these different pisgumim they write over there, right? And you can see from the pisgumim exactly what the intention of the teacher is. So when they write the word potential, it's a question mark, big question mark. Why are you writing about my? You can die with potential. That doesn't really help you in life. Here lies potential. That doesn't really help you. So what really is behind? So now, what does a teacher do? A teacher doesn't only deal with existing flames. Teacher is there to create a flame. So how do you create a flame through shvachim? Which is similar to the example you gave before, when the person's not nice, and you want to make them nice through shvachim, right? So here, shvachim can also work. How? Seemingly, it shouldn't work. Shvachim you can only talk to a Baal Chesed and say Chesed. Talk to a Chacham and say, well, I'm going to say, you're so smart, you got a 20? Doesn't work. It shouldn't work. It's not accurate, it's not genuine. LMI. Smart teacher, what does they do? They go to the emes. And getting one right is not true. Getting one right for that child didn't make effort for them to do that. The moment I shout out their struggle, I actually intensify their struggle. The moment I shout out, you got an 80, next time you got a 20, next time I'll get a 15. Because I essentially intensified his feeling of his inability and I allowed his potential to actually become even more potential. The moment I shout out his ability that he had, the little ability that he did have to puncture his potential and actually get one right, I am helping him push through that potential and get a second right. And that is where shvachim can actually create a midah in another individual. Not only do they address an existing flame, but they can actually create a new flame. The example for this given in Chassidus is like a flintstone. You've come across this. A flintstone, you have to really hit it, or another example is a name. A name of a person doesn't mean anything. Only if you call me out, then I respond. But the idea is it's potential here. Shvachim can actually create a change in another person, if done right. So in the area of chesed, it'll be the same thing. Person is not kind, so you're not saying they're kind. You're not lying. You're not faking it till it's real. What you're really doing is you're pulling out the little hair of that is there, and you're helping them, allowing them to develop it more and grow it more, and pushing them out of their potential. And that, me pulling, that's what I'm able to do. Because I'm still calling out, you see, it's still truthful. You have chesed. Everyone has the 10 midas. And I have it in me. So it's still truthful, as long as I'm genuinely, this is already a tough thing to do. This is very easy. Someone devices chesed, thank you very much, I got it, I heard it. Here you have to find where it's real. You have to identify, you have to call it out. It takes more of an effort, but it's still real, and it is effective. Yeah.
I was going to say that Dr. Carol Dweck,
effort.
Yes, she wrote a book of research that you have to praise for effort. And Rabbi Yitzchak Ginsburg wrote a book, if anyone's a teacher or a parent wants to get this book, it's inner.org, Frames of Mind. He went even deeper, and he made the model according to Kabbalah, as even deeper, all the details of this. On this subject.
Thank you.
Very subject.
I don't know if the word is praising effort. Effort sounds like, it's almost like, so you're a failure, but you tried hard.
No, well, but there's the question.
I don't like the word effort. It's a real thing. You're gonna, that child can actually, it's yigia.
It's real.
But it's not effort for the sake of effort, it's effort that, because it brings out. Okay, but it's not, yeah.
It's praising effort as opposed to praising talent, because once you praise the talent, that's the emphasis in the book. A person, if the talent isn't working anymore, he's stuck, he gives up.
In other words, again,
So it's not
I don't know if it's
outcome.
effort brings to talent. It's not effort versus talent.
Yeah.
Effort, as a matter of fact, can usually bring out deeper talents within a person than those who cruise on their existing flames. The flames we develop and we struggle to bring out are, number one, have more of a kiyum. They are more ours. We own them, and they're consistent. They don't go away as quickly. Those flames that we're born with, sometimes, in certain circumstances, don't really stand out. And usually it brings up deeper parts. I believe, this is another discussion, we talked about it different times, how effort unleashes, you can't suffice with an existing flame. If you suffice an existing flame, that's not where talent really is. Talent really is there to bring out through yigia, through effort. But that's another subject. Let's be masak on this last point and go back to what we talked about. I brought it up, so I threw it in. So what do we have over here? We have 3 stages in Ches. In I didn't put it in this point that I just mentioned about creating wasn't in this class, but I threw it in because it's what you mentioned and when you mentioned in the beginning, the same concept. So what does Shvachim do? Shvachim are addressing an existing fire, they're addressing a hidden fire, anger, and they also create. They create, even, in other words, I use the word create, although it's not really creating because you have it within you, but it's not as strong, it's not visible and tangible. So you're actually pulling out a fire within them that they themselves didn't yet experience, and you're helping them experience and feel it. Now the question is 9.
What was number 3? I'm sorry.
The case scenario of the teacher, where the child didn't yet experience a moment of chachma, but you, through your shvachim, are able to bring them and allow them to feel it through your shvachim. So shvachim you're able to help them dig, pull through potential to actuality. Okay.
She says it addresses existing fire.
Existing, hidden, and also potential. Potential is much different than hidden. Hidden means we were once friends, and now you're upset at me, so you're hidden from me. The right shevach, like we explained, can bring it back to the way it was before. Potential means it never yet had a function within the person. It never yet was felt. And shvachim are able to also bring that out. Potential.
Did you read an example of that yet?
I gave the example of the teacher. Right?
So what is the teacher saying?
So the teacher goes to the student and tells the student, that was amazing how you're able to get that answer right. That was a tough up.
There's some success.
So there's always something by everyone. We just don't necessarily feel it's a something to talk about.
It's based on the relationship.
Also because of based on our norms. What's a ma'aseh chesed when I give someone $1 million? $2, big deal. Who said? Maybe 10 cents is also a big deal. Who said? You allow and you cultivate that feeling, it's going to grow. If you say big deal, it's going to stay by maybe 5 cents.
There's a story about the miser and he threw him.
Threw back the dollar.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know the story.
Say the story.
I'll tell you the story on the phone.
Okay.
In a nutshell, a miser wasn't giving money. Every time he gave a small amount, and people would throw back at him and say, we don't want anything from you. And one time, was it Alter Rebbe? I don't remember.
Said he took it, he
And
accepted.
he took it, he accepted it, and then he broke down crying. This is the first time someone took it from him, and then he slowly helped him develop. Good. So now let's go to 9. And this really answered from before, but I just want to identify it. Why taka doesn't work? So we can ask ourselves, what is that, trick? Why taka? It was so shallow. Person is so shallow. And obviously the answer is, mentioned this already, but just to verbalize it. The Eibishter created us with Eser Koiches. We are human. We have Hagbol. Someone's going to say, you're so shallow, you need me to appreciate? You know already. No. The Eibishter created everyone with Eser Koiches. Same way I need food. We have certain Hagbolas that the Eibishter created us with. And that's the condition of how the Eibishter created us. That's how we function. It's not about, you want me not to function, so I won't function. This is how the Eibishter created humans. We have Eser, Koiches, and you talk to it, I respond. You don't talk to it, I don't respond. This is simply how it's not a matter of strength and not strength. It's a matter of human and not human. This is how Eibishter created people.
You have to also learn how to compliment yourself, because what if no one is complimenting?
So there's actually, you ever saw, put it in 13. So you ever saw how you go into people's offices, so there's actually two kinds of offices, but you see hanging on the wall, PR statements of the company, and you see their accreditation on the wall. So now there's 2 reasons why people do this. One reason is for customers that come in to give them credibility. There's another reason. Even when you're in an office by yourself, person does research, they also hang up things on the wall because we all have our own downtime. When our fire goes into recession and we can awaken our own fire, I can do it. So you're essentially calling out your own midah to yourself. Reading something about yourself is also a human way to, because we are human, we have the ups and downs. In the Maimorim of Lag BaOmer, it's always brought down, Tamidim of Rashbi would be Meshabeach the Rashbi. Why does he need their Shvachim? because he wasn't in touch with them. We cannot be in touch with ourselves. Shvachim essentially make us in touch with ourselves and in touch with others. It's not shvachim, it's awakening, it's talking to the heart. That's the role of shvachim. You mentioned ourselves.
It's almost like calling you by name. It's just
That's
a
what it is. The
different
example
name
given is
of
name.
your birth name, but it's
names.
essence, yeah.
Shemus. The example for potential is a name. Just like you call Reuven responds. You call these names, they respond back. And that's how we bring it, we do it. The Gashmis, this is how we function many times. Good, so let's go through this. So this is number.
Talking to yourself is okay.
In the context. Not in the street. In a certain context. It's brought down, different places it's brought down. The Magid, when he came up with a gedaint, with a thought, he would verbalize it. Even though the people around him didn't understand. It's another that verbalizing things to yourself has a place. It has a place within the function of how we work. Verbalizing things to ourselves has a place in how we develop things and how we awaken within ourselves. There's deeper. There's dibur la'atzmai, there's dibur lazulas. This is a concept. Not to walk around the whole time dibur, la'atzmai. That's a different story, right? But there's a concept. There's a function. Okay. So that's number 10. Shleimus ha'adam. What shleimus ha'adam? Shleimus ha'adam is 10 koiches. It's not a problem. This is simply how we are. That's number 11. We call out our strengths also. If people hang up posters, they say I can do it. The same concept. And this idea of a coal versus a spark. This is 13 also. There's two reasons why strengths could be sleeping. It could be our mood, or it could be someone else affected us. And both of them have the same recipe. Just like anger is someone else affected us. Shevach takes it away. Our own mood, if we're meshabeach ourselves, essentially what's a bad mood? Not appreciating myself. That's what a bad mood is. I feel like I can't. How do you take away a bad mood? You feel like you could. In other words, a bad mood is a disconnect between your heart and you. And a good mood, through a shavach, you bring it back. I could. You talk to and you bring it back. So that's really behind to yourself and to others, the same thing.
Who's the disconnect with you and what?
You and yourself. You and between your between you and your heart. What's within you. So that's the idea of a compliment, shakes off the dust, it awakens us, and that's really what the idea of Biktina is appreciation. Good. So what do we have here? Now let's go back to the beginning. Now we have to understand how it works by the Eibishter. Let's summarize, let's go back to the last point. What do we have? We explained, now we understand all four components of what a compliment is. And now what we really have to understand is how it works by the Eibishter. Now that we understand how it works by humans, now we have to understand how it works by the Eibishter. And the Eibishter can be very simple. First, let's again something. What do we have over here? We understood a compliment is essentially an experience of a heart talking to a heart. It's appreciation. It's essential. It's the feeling of me appreciating the other person. That's, in one word, the experience of it. It works in the three scenarios of existing fire, of a hidden fire, of potential. It works for others and for ourselves. That's what a compliment is. It's the experience of the feeling. Now a person might ask, so how does it work by the Eibishter? The Eibishter needs my compliment? No, he doesn't need your compliment. I'll give you a story. So someone asked once, how do I teach davening? I mentioned this, I don't know if I mentioned this over here. Teach davening to children, right? Children, they don't have, how can you show them what davening is? So they answer, so discuss then. Does a child appreciate the role of the parents in his life? Is he able to say the word thank you? Some children can't. They take for granted. The child can appreciate the tangible things that he has from his parents. How can he appreciate Eibishter? It's impossible. Hakaras HaToiv comes as a prerequisite to Haidah, which is really the cornerstone of davening. Moida ani, Haidah, appreciation. The Eibishter doesn't need anything. He simply wants us to relate to him like we relate to others. Appreciate my role. Haidah, appreciation. L'cha Hashem Agdula is not meant to pat him on the back. It's meant to express our appreciation to him.
So what
Very
if it's
normal.
Hashem?
The same way, in other words, he doesn't need anything. He doesn't need anything. But if you want a relationship the same way you have a relationship to another human, and the cornerstone over there is appreciation, where you show your feeling, and your feeling is now reciprocated, it's chapped on the other person. You have to show appreciation is a cornerstone of davening. There's a story that's brought up.
So then it'll make my
So-
Hashem to you?
That is where relationship starts. You want to have, what's davening? Davening is essentially verbalizing your appreciation. Davening is not about he needs your compliment. See, over here it's the reverse. By humans, we both need it. By the Eibishter, he doesn't need anything. He wants certain things, and that's what he decided. But the davening is not for him. The davening is for us.
Right.
For us to express appreciation.
Doesn't it need
There's a-
us in order to rest here?
He decided that he wants. In other words, the word is he decided. Not that, in other words, he decided that he wants such a relationship, that he wants also the appreciation kind of thing. In other words, he doesn't have esek. He's not made up of anything. You call him out by any name, he doesn't, but he decided he has these things. That's what he did. But the davening experience is for us to show appreciation. Let me bring this up with another story. So this will maybe bring it out better. There's a story brought down about a parush in a shul. Famous story with the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov comes into a shul. He goes to a parush. A parush is someone who's separated from the world. He only learns and davens the whole day, and he would have a little corner in the shul where he would daven and learn. So the Baal Shem Tov comes to him and says, "Was macht der Yid mit Parnasa?" You can imagine how the parush felt. What do you want from my life? Get away from me. Was macht der Yid? The Baal Shem Tov comes and says, "How are you doing with your Parnasa?" The guy doesn't work. He doesn't know what Parnasa is. He's sitting in shul the whole day. So it's brought down in the Sikhs, the Baal Shem Tov felt his machshavas, and he realized that this person is like totally lost it. So he asked it a second time. Was macht der Yid mit Parnasa? This time, the first time he ignored him. This time Baal Shem Tov already felt, and that's how it's brought down, that this parush is getting very nervous. So he already explained. He says, it says in the pasuk, Va'ata kodesh yoshev tehilas Yisrael. The Eibishter is holy, but he's sitting on our praises. When you praise Hashem, you are now connecting to Him. And you show that you appreciate Him, that's where He knows you have Him in your life. All I'm asking is say Baruch Hashem. Say Adank the Eibishter, that's it. The Rebbe asks in a Sikha, what do you mean? He was learning. He was thanking the Eibishter. What did he do wrong? Says the Rebbe, beautiful line that explains this whole story differently. He says like this. He says, essentially, this parush said, you know where the Eibishter is found? In the shul, not in the street. In my private life, it's not found. I'm not going to eat it. The Eibishter is begging for you to find him in your day-to-day life. Tehilos Yisrael is found when you say, Adank the Eibishter for my parnasa, for my physical well-being. That's where you show your life has him in it. And that's what the Baal Shem Tov was telling the parush. How come you are essentially shouting out, Eibishter is not found in physical life, only in the davening and the learning. That's essentially what you're shouting out. And you're wrong. It's flawed. It's not a right approach. You should recognize that when you eat like a mensch, and you daven like a mensch, and you interact the way humans, and there you show, that's appreciation, and that's the davening the Eibishter is asking. Yoshev tehilas Yisrael, that's his parnasa. The parnasa of Hashem comes from the Yah. Because that shows that we, mean it. In other words, that's us. That's us.
I'm saying in the physical things,
It's really genuine.
In other words, that's where we're really affected. That's our life. That's our life. And when we
say thank you,
we really, because the physical things are. Someone helps me when I was sick. Chas v'shalom. I feel us. Someone helped me with some theoreticals. It doesn't really. So that's what he was trying to tell him, that in your spirit. So in a nutshell, that's essentially the same nekuda of shvachim, the way it plays out in Ben Adam Machaveri is essentially the same cornerstone of davening, appreciation, the whole Rachmana Liba Boy, all the stories that we have of the Kukuriku, all of these different stories that you have about, all these stories are essentially bring out one point. What's point? The appreciation of a Yid to the Eibishter in there. And that's the same thing as shvachim. And that's how it plays out. And that's how it is in davening. That's the story with the parush.
the English
I'll
word.
finish.
He didn't
Huh?
have a pronouncer, so why?
Huh?
He didn't have a pronouncer, he said, so how, why
He
did
didn't, so that Hashem shouted out that that's a problem. I'll finish with a nice story.
Isn't that gratitude in English?
That is gratitude, that is gratitude. I'll finish with a nice story that I actually had. There was a, just to bring out this point, there was a, that's davening. That's, the Eibishter reciprocates that. That's what the Eibishter is waiting for. He's waiting for you to show him how you appreciate him in your life. I'll bring this out with another story. A story that brings this out.
But we can also ask for things when we're davening. We give praise and we ask.
Honestly, why? Adarabah. By me asking is I show that he's in my life. I wouldn't ask him if I don't think he is the one within my life. I'm not asking I'm asking because you're there, not because you're not. Yeah, that's what davening. That's why Bakasha Strachov is davening. We're showing he's part of our life. So there was a fellow in the Diamond District who had a nest. People came in, they shot him, and he survived. And he called me, and we went together to the oil. And a person, a few years ago, a person from the Diamond District. So when we went to the oil, he brought his kid. His kid was 13. And they live in Savion. Like the Stroll, Savion is a very...
Elite neighborhood?
yeah, it's like Beverly Hills.
Fancy,
It's like,
yeah.
a fancy area. And
Villas, you know?
so when he came out of the oil, the child started crying. The 13-year-old started crying. So what was wrong? So he's a child that was spoiled. His father gives him whatever he wants. He goes to a special school, in Ramat Aviv, or like an American school, where he can speak in English, and the diplomats go to that school. He's like a very spoiled. He goes to American and then he has first time the iPad 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, first thing. So he tells me, "Tagid la'ava sheli, and he loaded the iPad. פשוט רוצה שהוא ייתן לי 20 דקות של הזמן שלו. Tell my father I don't want the iPad. I simply want 20 minutes of his time. Appreciation is in your life. I don't need the things. Show me that you care for me in my life. And that's what davening is. And that's what we have between ourselves. Same experience that we have. We'll finish with that. Yeah.